Good morning. Happy Monday morning to everybody. This is Cody with Secure Agent Mentor and SecureAgentMentor.com. We have a phenomenal, exciting insurance training call to bring to you. We come to you every Monday morning bringing you weekly insurance training to make you the best that you can be. Words of encouragement, actual facts that make you better, things that make you tick, things that improve your game, things that elevate you to the next level. And that is exactly why we're here again this morning. I appreciate you clicking on this video, and I appreciate you watching this, listening to this. And one thing I can promise you is that we're going to bring you over $1 million worth of value out of this video today. Again, this is Cody with Secure Agent Mentor. Today's actual weekly insurance training is the math of sales, the actual numbers behind sales, and how to get to those numbers, how to track your numbers. What do you want to do and how do you want to get there? We've been doing this this is our 15th week. This is number 15 for our weekly insurance training. I'm extremely happy you are listening, and I can promise you again, you are going to love what we share with you. Today we're going to go over the math of sales. What are the numbers that are behind getting to where you want to go? Back when I first started, I tracked everything so minute and so specific that I was able to get results because I knew what I needed to do on an hourly basis to reach that massive annual goal. What are your goals? What kind of income do you want to make? A lot of people have a certain type of income that they want to make. If you're an entrepreneur, you don't start a business just to fail. You don't start a business just to get by. You don't start a business to be the second largest of that type of business in your area. You start a business and you set out to be the best. And if you don't set out to be the best, why not? So today, again, we're going to go over the math. What kind of math does it take to figure out the kind of income that you want to make? Pick a number, whatever that number is, and then today I'm going to show you how to break that number down into its smallest, minute details of activities and things that you need to do on a second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter, to hit those numbers that you want to hit for your entire year. So first, I'm going to give you a second to think about it before we dive in, because then I'm going to help you with the math of it. Think about it. See how much money do you want to make this year? And then let's walk through the math behind getting you there. My goal and my mission and my purpose is to help insurance agents become successful. That is why I created Secure Agent Mentor, and that is why I get up early in the morning focused on helping agents succeed. Know the math. You have to know the math behind what you are doing. Knowing the math is extremely important. Okay, let's dive in. So think about it. Hopefully that gave you a minute or two to think about how much money or income you want to earn. For easy math's sake, and if your number's not at least this, let's make your number bigger and make it this or bigger. This was what my income goal was my very first year in the business. I was 19, 20 years old, in college, playing basketball. I wasn't the most mature individual in the world. I wasn't the best salesman in the world. I knew very little about the insurance business, but I knew that I wanted to make $100,000 or more my very first year. So let's break that down. If you say, well, I want to make $100,000 my first year, or I want to make $100,000 a year, whatever year you're in, I'm going to show you how to make over $100,000 a year by going through the minute details and breaking this down into what type of activity and how much activity to do to hit that. So if you came up with a number of $100,000 for whatever reason, that's our goal for the year. That's our 52-week goal that you want to hit. Now we got to figure out what type of products do you sell, and what type of premium do you normally sell on those types of products? What's your commission percentage? It's probably, if you don't know me, it's probably not as high as it can be. So, because next, after the income or the sales goal, then we've got to figure out how much you make on an average sale. If you sell a life insurance policy, what's your average commission? If you sell a Medicare policy, what's your average commission? If you sell an annuity policy, how much is your average commission? If you sell a final expense life insurance policy, what is your average commission? We're going to think about in terms of our average and be conservative with your numbers. Here at Secure Agent Mentor, our agents make about an average of $750 on average per sale. About $750 a sale. Yeah, we make sales for $200 or $300. Yeah, we make sales for $2,000 or $3,000. Yeah, we make sales for $8,000. Yeah, we make sales for $1,000. Yeah, we make sales for $500, $600, whatever it may be. Our average commission is normally, yeah, mine's actually higher, but we'll get into why those numbers are the way they are. So our average commissions are about, here at Secure Agent Mentor and Secure Insurance Group, our average commissions are about $750 per sale. So our average commission is about $750 per sale. So take those numbers, take your first number of $100,000 that you wrote down, and or whatever your income goal is, and divide it by the average commission per sale. So when I do it on paper here, it's $100,000 divided by $750 per sale for average commission. So we have our income goal. We divide it by our average commission per sale, which brings us to how many sales we need to make in that time frame, whatever our time frame is. We need to figure out, are we wanting that time frame to be for the year? Are we wanting to make $100,000 the next 8 months? Or are we wanting to make $100,000 this month? Or are we wanting to make $100,000 this week? Or we want to make $100,000 this hour? Think about the effort and the activity that it would take to make $100,000 this next hour. I'm sure you got some big thoughts come through your mind. Okay, so from what I can see, we need 133 sales. If our income goal is $100,000 and our average commission is $750 per sale, we need 133 sales of those $750 sales to equal $100,000. So after we've figured out how many sales we need to make to hit our number. According to our average sales, we need 133 sales to hit our $100,000. So next, we've got to figure out what our closing ratio is. What is your closing ratio? If you dialed the phone 100 times, would you set 2 appointments? Would you set a half an appointment? Would you set 4 appointments? What's the math behind your closing ratio? Yeah, we'll look at it from, say I set 2 appointments, or I find 2 interested parties and I close 1. Well, out of 100, and say I close 1, for easy math's sake, that's 1% closing ratio. Maybe yours is better, maybe yours is worse. If you're more experienced, or if your skill is better, or if you put in more effort, or if your passion is there and they can feel it, and your clients feel that you are sold and that you are the man to talk to in that space, then yeah, your closing ratio may be a little better. But for easy math's sake today, we're going to look at a 1% closing ratio. That means if I picked up the phone 100 times, I'm going to sell 1 person. Just for easy math's sake. For whatever the case may be. And it varies whether you're selling in person, whether you're selling over the phone, because then you have to figure out on average, how many dials it takes to get an appointment, and then how many appointments it takes to get a sale. And so figure out how many actual contacts or dials or knocks or whatever you're doing it takes to get an actual sale. And then that's our percentage. If it takes you 200 to get a sale, then you're looking at 0.5%, 1 out of every 200 it takes to make a sale. And so our telesales department, we've been going through this over the last couple of weeks. We've been trying to figure out the math behind what we know. Right now, we're between, because we're calling a lot of aged leads, or a lot of our leads aren't answering, or for whatever reason, we're trying to figure out the math behind it. We're at about 220 per sale right now. Yes, we're trying to improve that, and there are many ways that we can improve that. But we're looking at right now, for my telesales division, we are looking at about 1 out of every 220 to 222 contacts per sale. Obviously, we're always trying to improve that, and we'll go over ways to improve your numbers. So now we've come to what your closing ratio is. This is giving you plenty of time to think about what your actual closing ratio is. How many people do you contact before you close somebody, before they buy, before you close them down? Okay, so then take the number of sales times your closing ratios. Say it's 1%. Well, you need to take that 133 sales times 100, because it means it takes you 100 contacts to close one. So if you do that, it takes you 200 contacts to sell somebody. Well, take 133 sales times 200. Our closing ratio, just for easy math's sake, we'll just say 100%. We'll just say 1% for today. So that means 133 sales times 100 contacts to equal that 1% closing ratio is 13,300 contacts. So we know that we need to make 13,300 contacts to get 133 sales, and if our average commission is $750 a sale, to make $100,000. So we've got it down to how many contacts we need to make to actually make $100,000, and it's 13,300 contacts. Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but are you wanting that tomorrow? Are you wanting that next month? Or are you wanting that next year? Or are you wanting it the remainder of the year? Right now it's April 25th of 2016. Maybe you want that, the last 8 months of the year. Maybe you want that May through December. Maybe you want that the last 8 months of the year. So we got to figure out how many days. And so for easy math's sake, we're just actually, and I can promise you, at some point in the future, I'm going to make $100,000 a month in this business. So don't think it's not possible. Okay, so now we've got 13,300 contacts. Then we want to divide that by how many days you are going to be working. So if you look at, there's a 52 weeks. We're just going to use a year for easy math's sake. And again, you can do this however you want. We're going to look at 52 weeks in a year. We're going to look at 2 weeks off, 50 weeks, working 5 days a week, just for easy average math's sake. Yeah, I work about 5.5, 6 days a week. It just depends. We work a lot of Saturday mornings, a lot of Sunday evenings, preparing for the week. But if you look at 50 weeks, 5 days a week, that's 250 days a year. That's 250 work days. If we just go by easy math's sake and we're counting for a week of holiday and a week of vacation or whatever it may be, figure out how many actual days you're planning on working a year, or how many days you're planning on working during your time frame of how long you want to do it to hit that $100,000. So we're taking 13,300 contacts, which we came up with, and we're dividing it by 250 work days, because we're just doing it for the whole year for easy math's sake. That brings us down to 13,300 contacts dividing by how many days we're planning on working. That brings us to 53.2 calls per day. We've got to make 53.2 calls per day for 250 days to equal 13,300 contacts. If we close one out of every 100, that gets us to 133 sales on average. With an average commission of $750 per sale, we're going to make $100,000 in that year. And so we're down to a 53.2 calls per day. I always like to add an extra 25% in, and yeah, it's not going to be this high, but I don't ever want anything to keep me from hitting my goal. So I always add an extra 25% for chargebacks, cancellations, underwriting declines, whatever it may be. And so if I add an extra 25% onto that 53.2 calls per day, that brings me to 66.5 calls per day. So if I make 66.5 calls per day, 250 days a year, and I'm closing one out of every 100, I'm getting 133 sales, $750 per sale, brings me to $100,000 in that year. 66.5 actually gets us more than what we're wanting, but we're going to account for, my chargebacks and cancellations and declines are obviously much less than that, but I'm just doing it for easy math's sake. We're getting to where we're making 66.5 calls per day. Well, that's where it comes back to where how much money do you want to make? What's your average commission? How many sales does it take to hit your goal? What's your closing ratio? How many total contacts do you need to make? How many days are you going to work? And how many contacts are you going to make per day? Figure out the numbers, know the math, and then show up and do the math on a daily basis until you hit your end goal. Break this down to your daily activity to hit your goal. Figure out the math behind what you do and hit daily activity to hit your long-term goal. I promise you it works. I did it my first year. I've did it ever since then. I'm doing it with our telesales division now. We're doing it with all of our Secure Agent Mentor agents. Figure out the math. Know the math. Millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, they know the exact math behind every piece of their business. If they know, if they sell cupcakes for a living and it costs them $1 to make and they're selling them for $3, they get a $2 profit margin. And they're anticipating $1 million worth of sales. Well, they find out how many cupcakes they need to sell. They need to sell 500,000 cupcakes. And then they figure out where they're going to do it and what type of activity is going to result in those 500,000 cupcakes being sold. So think about it. Know the math. If you're serious about your business, you will figure out whatever the math is. You will know the math. The math is important. The numbers of sales is important. And believe it or not, it's very easy to do. Call me, email me, text me. I'll figure out how to help you come up with the math behind your business and how many contacts you actually need to show up and make on a daily basis. Okay, so how can we improve the numbers? Yes, our numbers may not be good in the beginning, but how can we improve? What improves our numbers? What makes our numbers less than other people? Well, number one, the experience. The experience of how long you've been doing something will decide how good your numbers are. Or maybe because I've been in the business almost 6 years and my skill is much greater than my fear, and I put in a lot of effort and my passion shows through a call, maybe I only need to call 30 people a day to make $100,000 a year. Maybe I just need to talk to 50, 30 people, 20 people, 50 people, whatever it is. I know that I need to pick up the phone that whatever amount of times or door knock on so many doors, whatever it may be. Know the math so that you can show up and not think about, hey, I've got to make a sale today. Hey, I've got to make a sale today. That's a great thing to think about. But even more important, hey, I've got to make 66 calls today. Hey, I've got to make 100 calls today. Hey, I've got to make 200 calls today. And then know the math and show up and actually put forth the effort and the amount of activity that it takes to hit your income goal. Most people don't think about the actual math or the actual numbers behind what they want in their life. Figure it out and show up and pay the price. Put forth the effort. Eventually, in the beginning, your fear is much greater than your skill. As you do this more and more, your skill becomes greater than your fear. And then it becomes easier to get what you want. Be sold on what you sell. Be confident and be passionate. Customers will feel those things. If you're sold, if you're confident and you're passionate, clients will see it, they will feel it, and your numbers will start to improve. You'll actually start to make more than $100,000 because you're just better at getting people to buy for whatever reason. So experience helps. Skill versus fear, that always helps improve your numbers. The actual effort that you put in and the actual passion that brings through a call, that shows through a call. So again, the math of sales, know your math. Math is extremely important. Figure out your income goal, divide it by the average commission. That'll bring you to how many sales you need to make. Then figure out how many contacts you normally have to make to close one person. Times it times that brings you to the amount of contacts you need to make in a time frame. In this example, in a given year. Then figure out how many days you're going to work in that year, and then that will bring you to how many calls or dials you need to make per day over that time frame. If you add in chargebacks, cancellations, declines, yeah, we want to always be positive. Yeah, we don't want to ever think about anything negative. I get it. But we have to be realistic, and we have to realize that chargebacks happen, cancellations happen, declines happen, underwriters decline stuff. It's just part of the game, so to speak. And so add in a percentage so that nothing gets in the way of you hitting your goal, which brings you to an end number of calls per day. Know the math, Think about the math. The math is extremely important. Break down the math into the smallest minute detail and then go get what you want. Whatever your income goal is, I can promise you, I can tell you the math to get there. And I can show anyone how to get what they want out of life. So, again, this is Cody with Secure Agent Mentor at secureagentmentor.com. Today, we went over the math of sales. And know your math, think about your math, figure out your math, and put forth the amount of activity to hit your income goal. We come to you every week, and we go over the weekly insurance training it takes to be successful. Cody with Secure Agent Mentor and secureagentmentor.com. Thank you very much for listening to this. Every week, every Monday, we bring you phenomenal advice, insights, training, tools, resources, whatever it may be, motivation, whatever it may be. We are bringing this to you every Monday. Make sure that you subscribe and that you tune in to every video that we put out. Because I can promise you, we are putting in $1 million worth of value every time we pick up the phone and we do one of these videos. Thanks again for listening, and know your math.